If you want to grow your print on demand, t-shirt, or apparel business on Instagram in 2025 without ads, this episode is for you. Instagram is a marketing giant with over 2 billion monthly active users, but it has evolved a lot over the years. It continues to evolve, and many of the old strategies that used to work, they are no longer effective. So in this episode, I'm going to be sharing proven Instagram growth strategies that me and many of my T-Shirt Legends Academy students are using to grow their brands on Instagram right now in 2025. My name is Adrian Von Arx. Welcome to the Print on Demand Playbook Podcast. What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in and welcome to the show. I'm really excited for this episode because I get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, and that is marketing, particularly Instagram growth. I also am going to be highlighting some of my incredible students who I personally prefer to talk about more than myself. So let's just get into it. There's going to be 3 parts to this episode. So I want to break it down into 3 parts. First is some background, context, and credibility. So I am a big believer in taking advice from people who have actually been where you want to go. So I'll be bringing some receipts to show you that I actually walk the walk and don't just talk the talk. But even more importantly, I'll actually be sharing some results of my students that they're getting right now in 2025. So I'm going to be sharing that. The second part, I'm going to share my 3-part framework focused around timeless growth principles specifically for Instagram. And then part 3, I'm going to share some 2025 growth hacks. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm so excited. So let's jump in and just get started with part 1, and that is credibility. So I just want to give you some background about myself, how I learned social media growth, how I continue to learn social media growth, and how that has helped many others grow on Instagram. So first off, I want to start by talking about kind of like my educational background. So I don't have any expert degree in marketing or social media, but I have invested in coaching every single year since 2016 because I don't know everything. And I'm not afraid to admit it, right? I don't know everything. Strategies, they're always changing. And I always want to be learning from people who are better than me. So I'm currently part of 2 paid Instagram growth coaching programs. Yes, you heard that right. I am a student in 2 paid Instagram growth coaching programs. And what's great about this is neither of them are apparel specific, but what's great about this is I'm learning all these strategies from others who are also having a lot of success. They're sharing these strategies, and I'm able to apply a lot of those strategies specifically onto print on demand and apparel. So a lot of those strategies that are working for other businesses and industries, they'll work for print on demand and apparel brands as well. So I really love learning from others and then taking that and applying it specifically to this, I guess you could call it a niche, right? Print on demand and apparel brands. I have been marketing on social media for 9 years, and I've been coaching others how to grow their brands on social media for 4 years through my coaching business called Ecom Legends Academy. I have grown a social media presence of over 150,000 followers across 2 apparel brands. I've grown a social media presence of over 45,000 followers across my coaching business. And I've had the honor of personally coaching hundreds of students on social media, particularly Instagram, and even have a dedicated Instagram growth course built into my training and coaching program called T-Shirt Legends Academy. So real quick, for anyone who doesn't know what T-Shirt Legends Academy is, or TLA as I call it, it's a beginner-friendly training and coaching program that my brother Carlos and I started to help people build profitable businesses with Shopify and print on demand. One of the aims of this program is to help students avoid time intensive and costly mistakes and get them on the quickest path to sales and profitability. So in TLA, we have a dedicated 19 video course specifically for Instagram growth. And this is specifically, even more specifically, for print on demand and apparel brands. And it is like nothing else out there. But rather than bore you with the details of that program, I actually thought it would be more insightful to hear about a few TLA student results when it comes to Instagram growth in particular. So I'm gonna gush about some of my students right now, but I'm more than anything, I'm doing this to show you that there are people right now who are having success growing their brand on Instagram in 2025, because there's a lot of people out there that are going to say, oh, you can't grow on Instagram in 2025. Instagram growth is dead. There's no way to grow an apparel brand. Pay no attention to those people. I'm about to show you I'm about to share a number of students just in my program who are growing very, very quickly. So I want to shout them out here. Ashley, she started her Instagram brand account in September 2024. She surpassed 1,000 Instagram followers in around 5 months and now has over 1,400 followers at the time of recording this. And that's just a few weeks after she surpassed 1,000 followers. My student Nate started his Instagram brand account in June 2024. He surpassed 1,000 Instagram followers in around 4 months and now has over 2,400 followers. My student Miguel started his Instagram brand account in July 2024. He surpassed 1,000 Instagram followers in around 3 months. My student Johnny started his brand account in September 2024. He grew from 0 to over 2,000 followers in 4 months and is currently at around 4,000 followers at the time I'm recording this within just 5 months. So I want to make it clear, don't let anyone tell you that you cannot grow on Instagram in 2024. Instagram growth is a result of strategy, not luck or special ability. This is just a small sample size of students in our TLA program who are growing very quickly right now using the proven strategies that we teach. It's kind of cool because in TLA, we have 3 group coaching calls per month. And whenever someone hits a big milestone, either in sales or growth on Instagram, something like that, I always ask them to share with the rest of the group on that call what contributed to their success. And they're always very generous with their advice. So these students, they share their brand in TLA, but out of respect for them, I'm not going to be sharing their brands publicly. All right. I just want to make that really clear. And because I know that most of these students are actually listeners of this podcast, I want to let you know, you, the students that I just mentioned, I want you to know that I'm proud of you and that you made this happen. That was all you. You're the hero. I'm just the guide. So, what is it that's helping these and many other TLA students grow their brands quickly on Instagram? That leads me to part 2 of this episode, and that is the 3-part strategy for growth. So let's talk about that, starting with part 1, and that is niche. So when it comes to niche, you want to choose a simple niche and create all of your content for your target audience. I want you to ask yourself this question: who is my brand for, and why does it exist? If you can't sum this up in one short sentence, your niche is probably too complicated. And I've had this conversation with many students before. I've been there too, by the way. So many of these things that I mentioned, kind of rookie mistakes or issues that people have, I feel like I've actually experienced all of these myself. So I'm definitely not saying any of this to harp on anyone, but this is a conversation that I've had with a number of students. I'll ask them this question and they'll spend 5 minutes trying to explain their niche. Here's the thing. If you can't even explain your niche briefly, how is your ideal customer supposed to know that your brand is for them? So clearly identify your niche and focus on creating all of your content for your target audience. This is going to train the algorithm to learn who your target audience is, and it's going to start recommending your content to those people. And that's really all that matters. That's really all that matters. For example, I have a friend who built a 7-figure apparel brand creating funny shirts for female gym lovers. And all of the content and products that she posted were created with only female gym lovers in mind. So when it comes to your audience, it's really all about quality over quantity. Attract the best and repel the rest. It is far more valuable to have an account with 10,000 female gym lovers than 100,000 random followers who don't care about your brand and will never be your customers, right? Instagram is a marketing channel intended to attract your target audience, build a following of raving fans, and convert them into brand loyal customers who purchase on repeat. Remember, you only need 1,000 people to spend $100 per year on your shop to earn 6 figures in revenue. But imagine if you could get 10,000 people to spend $100 per year on your shop. That's $1 million in revenue per year. That is the power of building a brand, and Instagram can play a significant role in that growth. That is what I want for each and every one of you. All right, let's talk about part 2 of the framework, and that is your profile. So you want to optimize your profile for growth and sales. So when you start creating viral style content that the algorithm starts recommending to your ideal customer, you will get people checking out your profile and making a decision whether to follow you or not. This is why it's extremely important to make it crystal clear who your brand is made for. You want people to visit your profile and immediately think, this brand was made for me. This brand gets me. This brand is me, right? Studies have shown that Instagram users decide in 7 seconds or less whether they'll follow an account, which is why it's so important that you optimize your profile and make it clear and understandable very quickly, like within seconds. The clock is ticking, all right? So how can you actually optimize your profile for growth? Let's talk about it. I want to give you multiple actionable steps that you can do right now, today, while you're listening to this episode, all right? First is your username or handle. So generally, you'll want this to be your brand name. So if my name is Cat Mom, if my brand's name is Cat Mom Clothing, I'm gonna make my username ideally at Cat Mom Clothing. All right. Next is your name. So you have your username or your handle, which is the at brand name. And then you're going to have your actual name. And here, again, I would just put the brand name. So the brand name would just be Cat Mom Clothing. All right. Third is you're going to add your logo as your profile picture. Now, when you're adding your logo, make sure that it's clean, it's clear, and it looks professional. It's important that it's easy to see and read. So you might just want to put your brand name or your logo individually, because if your name is long and it looks really small on your profile photo, that not only looks unprofessional, but there's also just not a ton of value in that, since no one can read it. No one's gonna be able to read what it actually says. Next, let's talk about your bio. All right. So I want to give you like the line by line recommended breakdown here. All right. So this is what I teach my students. Line 1, you want to state who your brand is for and why it exists in as few words as possible, ideally in just one single line. If you can avoid it dropping down into a second line, that's very helpful. Line 2 is you want to highlight any differentiators. So this could be a lot of things, but let's say that you're in the hiking niche and you plant a tree for every item sold. Well, that's something you could highlight, right? You could have that little green plant emoji, and next to it, you could say, we plant a tree for every item sold. This is a differentiator. This makes you stand out from other brands. That's just one of so many different differentiators that you can use, even if you're a brand new brand, right? Line 3, this is optional. I definitely recommend this when you actually have this, but that is to leverage any social proof to build trust. So when you're first starting out, you might not have much social proof and there might not be a lot to leverage. But as you grow and as you start hitting milestones, I do recommend using this real estate on your bio to build trust, because trust plays a big part in the sales process. People have to trust you. They have to know, like, and trust you before they go ahead and purchase the product. All right. So to build trust, there's a lot of things you can do here. If you've been around for a while and you made a lot of sales, I would put something like, let's say, 10,000 plus happy customers. If you have 10,000 customers, 10,000 plus happy customers, let's say you've sold 10,000 shirts. Maybe it's only to 8,000 customers, but you've sold, or 7,000 customers, but you sold 10,000. You can say 10,000 plus shirts sold. There's a lot of different things you can put here. If you have a lot of reviews and you have a really high average star rating, let's say you have an average of 4.5 star rating, you can mention that as a social proof. So there's a number of levers that you can pull here. And as you start making sales and as you grow, it's going to become easier. And I absolutely recommend leveraging those things. Now, the next line, this is what I call the call to action line. I recommend keeping this really, really simple. This would be something like saying shop bestsellers with a finger emoji pointing down. And then the final line should be the call to action link. So this would actually be the link. So if it said shop bestsellers, you would want to include the bestseller link to your website. Now, I personally really love sending people to bestsellers because statistically, those are the products that are most likely to resonate with them. And I'm all about gold up front. We want to get our best products in front of those people because a lot of them, they will not stick around for very long. And it's our job to hook them in and to start showing them products very quickly that align with them and their passion, and products that just evoke emotion relatability that they want to buy. Right? So I like sending people to bestsellers myself, but you can also send them to new arrivals. There's other places you can send them as well, special collections. Personally, I pretty much always send customers to bestsellers. All right, so that's part 2. That's optimizing your profile for growth and sales. And then part 3 of the framework is content. So you want to post content to your feed. And I know that sounds very oversimplified, but I'm actually going to break this down. And I also don't want to assume that everyone listening to this is an Instagram expert or maybe even has an Instagram account. I bet a lot of you haven't even started an Instagram account for a brand. So I'm trying to come at it from all angles and all abilities here, okay? So for content, post content to your feed. Now, there's 3 types of content. There's photo posts, there's carousels, and there's reels. A photo post is just a post with a single image. A carousel, that's a post that allows users to swipe through multiple photos or videos in a single post. And then third is a reel. Now, you've probably heard about reels. Reels are just short form video content. Now, I do recommend posting all 3 content types. However, the best one for growing on Instagram in 2025 is undisputably reels. It is. These get the most views and the most reach to non-followers, which is very essential for growth. We're going to talk more about that. But now that you know the 3 different types of content and which is going to give you the best chance to grow in 2025, let's discuss what your reels and other content should actually be about. All right. So I've got a couple notes here that I want to share with you. First, your feed posts should always be related to your niche. This will train the algorithm to know who to show your content to and start recommending it to new non-followers in your niche. All right. Secondly, you want to focus primarily on value posts rather than just product posts. So you should still have some product posts, but keep in mind that they rarely help you grow. Now, there are some strategies where they can help you grow, but for simplicity's sake, product posts alone rarely help you grow. All right. Value posts, these are usually non product posts that educate, entertain, or inspire your target audience. And I recommend creating reels for most of your value posts. So I mentioned that reels of all the content types are the best way or the fastest or the easiest way to grow in 2025. But you also want the reels to be value posts. So blend the two. If you just did a reel of, if you just posted all reels of just your products, it very likely would not perform well and it would very likely not help you grow. So you want to mix the two. You want reels and you want them to be value posts. And the third point that I want to make about posting content to your feed is that in general, the more you post, the more you grow. There's no magic number of posts. I know everybody wants an answer. They want to know that perfect magic number of posts to maximize your growth. But I recommend trying to post however many pieces of content you think that you can handle consistently and commit to that number. Many of my students who are growing very quickly, they actually do post daily. However, that doesn't mean that they're all creating new posts every day. Let me explain what I mean, because this is something that I actually teach to save a ton of time while helping you remain consistent. So before posting anything, I recommend two things. First is to set aside a block of time to conduct content research to identify viral style content in your niche and even in other niches that you can use as inspiration to create content that evokes emotion and relatability for your ideal customer, for your target audience. And secondly, I recommend setting aside a block of time to batch create the content itself. I personally like to set aside 1 day per month to research and plan my content, and then 1 day per month to batch create content. Now, I don't always create all 30 pieces of content for the month in that 1 day. Sometimes I'll just see something that I think could perform really well, so I'll quickly throw together a post and get it out there. But I have found that using this system, implementing this system really helps not only save a bunch of time, but it will also give you a bunch of content which you can schedule out or you can post each day very quickly, and it will make it easier to remain consistent. Because what I found is that when I try to create new content on a daily basis, sometimes life gets in the way and I just can't do it. Other times, I'm just not feeling like creative. I just don't know what I want to post, or I'm overthinking it, and sometimes I don't post at all. So this is something that I like to do, is have these systems in place to hold me more accountable and help ensure that I remain consistent. And I'm not saying I post every single day. I don't post every single day, but what I'm saying is a lot of my students who are growing the fastest right now, they are posting every single day. So what's most important is that you're remaining consistent. So I would way rather you post 5 times a week, every single week, than post 100 times in 1 week and then just ghost your account for a month, right? You want to remain consistent. So if all you can handle is 3 posts a week, 4 posts a week, 5 posts a week, if that's all you can handle, then that's all you can handle. Focus, commit to that, right? Commit to that. But help yourself by saving a lot of time by batch researching content and batch creating content. It's a total game changer, and it makes it so much easier to remain consistent. All right, part three. Let's talk about 2025 growth hacks. So, I've got three growth hacks that I want to share with you, and I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to try these out for yourself. Maybe they'll work for you, maybe they won't. But what I do know for a fact is that these are working for me. Some of them are working for me, some of them are working for my students. So, I challenge you to try them out for yourself, right? Why not? Why not? This is what's working right now for some brands, and success leaves clues. So here we go. Growth hack number one is to focus on share worthy content. This is one of the best ways to grow in 2025 and one of the best forms of engagement, according to the CEO of Instagram. It's also how many of my students are growing very quickly on Instagram right now. Growth hack number two, that is to repost your best performing content every 90 days or later. So once you start posting and creating viral style content, that is content that is reaching a high number of new non followers, what you want to do is you want to repost that most viral style content again, assuming it's evergreen, meaning it has appeal year round. So if you had a Christmas post go viral 2 weeks before Christmas, I probably wouldn't recommend posting it in March, right? Because it's about Christmas. And so what I would do is I would actually save that for the lead up to Christmas next year. But what you probably do, what I do, and what most of my students do is we create a lot of what's called evergreen content. That's content that can perform good all year, right? I like to do a mix of seasonal and evergreen. And so that evergreen content, if it went viral 3 months ago, it's very likely to go viral again. And my definition of virality is when you post a piece of content that reaches a high number of non followers and significantly more followers than you actually have. So I call this VFM, viral for me content. I didn't coin that term. I learned it from one of my coaches. And essentially, what that means is that it's viral for you. So if you have 500 followers and you posted something and it reached 5,000 people, that's what I would consider VFM content, viral for me content, right? So this is something that I do and I teach my students to do, and it's working really, really well for people right now. Because, like I said, if a post resonates with your target audience today, guess what? It'll likely resonate with your target audience in 90 days, right? So this is just kind of low hanging fruit. What's nice about this too is it saves you a bunch of time from having to create totally original content again, right? So if you can get to a point where you have such a big library of content and you have a lot of viral style content, then you can just keep repurposing that. And you could get to a point where maybe every third post is just a repost. Or if you don't repost it, maybe you just recreate it in some way to kind of recreate that magic, right? So you can have a lot of fun with this. It's really easy to do. It's quick. And if it went viral once, it'll likely go viral again for you. So definitely try that out. This is great for growth since, like I said, if it reached a lot of non-followers once, it's likely going to reach a lot of new non-followers again when you post it. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, do I want to do that? Because what if my followers have seen that before? I totally get that argument, but I just want to debunk that right here, right now. Because here's the thing. Remember that many of your existing followers may not have been following you when you originally posted that content and probably didn't go very far back in your grid to see it, right? If it's 90 days or older, they probably didn't go that far back in your grid. Secondly, even if they were following you since you posted it last time, people consume so much content on Instagram that they most likely won't even remember you posting that. And even if they do, but let's say that it resonated with them, what's the harm in showing it to them again? They'll probably be happy to see it again, right? If I'm following an account and they posted a really inspiring video that aligned with my values. And I felt very touched by that. Getting that reminder 90 days later, I'm going to personally be happy to get that reminder. Maybe I meant to save it and I forgot, and then I see it again and I'm like, oh, that's the one that I was thinking of. I'm going to save it this time, right? So do not hold yourself back from reposting viral style content again in the future. And you can keep doing this on loop. Like, I'm not saying just repost it once. I'm saying repost it again and again. Eventually, you're going to have so much content that you're going to have months worth of pre-made viral style content that you can continue to drip out every 90 to 120 days or so. All right. So that's growth hack number 2. Growth hack number 3 is to take your past best performing reels and repost them as trial reels. So let me explain this, because this is a new Instagram feature and this is actually working really well for a lot of people right now. I'm going to share a post from one of my students in a sec who this is working for really well, but I just want to kind of explain this. So trial reels are a new way to test content with non-followers before sharing it with your followers. So many people, including many of my TLA students, like I mentioned, they're having success using trial reels to reach non-followers, attract them to their profile, and convert them into new followers. And I actually want to share this post from one of my TLA students. He shared this in our private community. And I was like, oh, I got to share this with our listeners. This is too good. And it also just worked well because we're talking about this as a growth hack. So here's a real live comment from one of my students. This was posted in the last week in our private community. And they say, I got to share this. Had been curious about the Instagram new trial option, listened to the pod over the weekend, and heard Adrian talk about how you can use it to repost old reels that did well. Well, now I have a reel with almost 3 million views in just a few days. Crazy stuff. I like to send messages to each new follower, but I haven't been able to keep up almost 500 new followers from just this one new reel. Guys, the proof is in the pudding. There you have it. So do what they did. Try it out. I definitely recommend this. I've been talking about this for a while now, but I do recommend trying it out. And even if it doesn't work for you, at least you gave it a shot, right? You miss 100% of the shots you never take. Maybe it will work out and you do it and you grow really fast. If not, that's fine. Keep focusing on strategies for growth, right? So that's it for the 2025 growth hacks. And as we kind of land the plane on this episode, I just really want to encourage you to go out and apply these Instagram growth strategies to your brand. There's a quote that I really love that says, action is the foundational key of all success. Nothing's going to happen if you don't take action. And the whole purpose of this podcast is to encourage you to take action and to help you build your dream life, to unlock more freedom, whatever that looks like to you. Maybe that's freedom of time, maybe that's freedom of location, maybe that's freedom of finances, maybe it's all three. We want that for you. That's why we do this. That's why we're here. That's why we show up every week and put out this content. We want to see you transform your life. And kind of like I alluded to earlier, like, you have to be the hero of your own journey. We're here to be your guides. We're here to help you out and to try to give you everything we can, right? I pride myself on giving out as much free content as possible. However, it's quite challenging to give out everything that I have, especially because things are changing all the time. So definitely start by listening to this podcast. But also, I want to mention, if you do want to join the students that I mentioned today and get direct coaching from myself and my brother Carlos, I want to personally invite you to join our T-Shirt Legends Academy family. It's an incredible community. It really is. And whether you're totally new to print on demand, or if you're an established multi 6-figure or 7-figure brand, our training, coaching, and private community, they are designed to get you results. They are designed to get you on the quickest path to sales and profitability. And it's helping people build brands they love, create products that actually sell, that people actually buy, and market those products effectively. So if that sounds interesting to you, you can check out my free 60-minute on-demand training where I reveal the exact strategy that I use to generate multiple millions in sales with Shopify and print on demand. And I discuss how you can actually join T-Shirt Legends Academy. So in there, you're going to hear all about the program. And then there's going to be a link that you can go to just to join the program if that's something you're looking for. So to check out that on-demand training, click on the link in the show notes below or go to ecomlegendsacademy.com/grow. You can also DM me on Instagram anytime at Ecom Legends Academy if you have any questions about the program, or if you just want to skip the masterclass and just join right away, just DM me. We'll talk, make sure it's a good fit for you, and then I can help you out. All right. So with that, I'm going to sign off. This has been so much fun. Now it's your time to go out there, take the messy, imperfect action, and remember that you're always just one design away. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Print on Demand Playbook Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us an honest review on whichever platform you are listening from. Thank you again, and we will see you very soon.